how to even start this video. I could probably run an entire 5-day workshop on how to be alone. All right, hey guys. Today is a very sensitive subject. It's very dear to me because it's something that I've struggled with a lot. It's something that I think about a lot. I journal about it in all sorts of different facets. And it's something that I believe we need to talk a lot more about. It's how to be alone. It's how to connect to ourselves, about how to really become our own best friend and to nurture that connection. And when I talk about being alone, I want to talk about solitude. Because there's loneliness, which is the yucky feeling of being alone. That can get very scary. And loneliness, as we all know, is something that most of us are really afraid of. It's such a deep fear, and I'm touching my stomach when I say that, like it's so deep in here. And you know, I've struggled with it in one way or another throughout my life as well. I found ways to cultivate that time that I spend on my own and being able to cherish it and appreciate it, especially as someone who's an introverted extrovert. So I kind of need both, and I'm constantly walking this very, very, very fine line of connecting to people, and when that gets too much, and then spending time on my own, being alone, being in my solitude, and when that gets too much. And so there's constantly this fine line that I'm walking on, trying to navigate what's good for me, and that has been a huge challenge all over, I feel like, in my life, and it's something that I still struggle with. Especially also these days, right now, constantly this balancing act of, you know, needing my space and being alone and spending my time with other people. And one thought I've been having, and that keeps coming up for me personally, is that is everything we do outside of ourselves, is everything distraction? Can everything become distraction? Relationships, work, traveling, any sort of thing that you do to feel something, like some sort of intensity in your life, because we can't bear the feeling of just being with ourselves. And that's something I've been thinking about so much recently. It's been coming up for quite some time throughout last year, but especially in the last few weeks, it's something that I've thought about and trying to find some answers and developing an even more awareness with myself about when am I distracting myself from myself and what I might be feeling or what scares me, and when I'm just genuinely, you know, in a healthy way, connecting to other people, working without being a workaholic and distracting myself, because I know my tendencies, I know exactly how I distract myself, I know what my mechanisms are. I can't bullshit myself anymore. I ask myself a lot of honest questions, and I have to give myself a lot of really honest and open answers, and that also relates to drinking alcohol, for example. I don't drink much anymore at all. I used to, you know, take a lot of drugs in my past, but even now when I have a glass of wine, when I have a beer, I ask myself, why am I doing that? Am I distracting myself? Am I trying not to feel something? Or do I just really want to sit down and just have a beer and chill the fuck out? So it really is this constant, you know, being aware. It's this dance of where am I, what am I doing, you know, staying in touch with ourselves and realizing how we work and how we might be bullshitting ourselves, and getting to a point where being alone is not a bad thing anymore. I used to judge myself when I was alone. I was like, oh my God, you're such a loser being by yourself. Why don't you have enough friends to surround yourself with? Why, you know, whatever, all these questions that come up, because I was conditioned in a way to look at other people when they were alone, being like, oh my God, what a poor, lonely person that must be, even though they might have been enjoying themselves fully being alone. And so I've also come to a point where I really enjoy going to a cafe or restaurant by myself and eating by myself. I actually really enjoy eating by myself, sometimes more than with other people, because I can so fully focus on my meal, the food, and how it tastes, and properly digested, and just be fully in peace with that abundance of beautiful produce that I'm consuming. So I can generally be more creative and find more inspiration when I'm alone. I actually need that alone time to create. So for me, being alone is really about finding a home in myself. And still, as much as I've worked on all of this, with every hour that I spend with myself, I'm building an even stronger foundation. An even stronger foundation that is the connection to myself. And I believe we need to be spending a lot of quality time with ourselves, because if we only look for other people to fill some sort of hole because we don't want to be alone, then it's actually really, it's not genuine. It's not an authentic desire of wanting to relate and connect. It's actually, we're just using these people to not be alone and to distract ourselves from something that we don't want to feel. And once I realized that, I was like, holy shit. I've been using a lot of people. Friends, but I've really also used relationships for that, because I didn't want to be alone. I didn't want to feel the depths of that unbelievable, maybe pain or just uncomfortable feelings coming up that you feel when you're single and you're not emotionally intertwined with someone. And so being single in itself is something that's very difficult for me, because I have looked for somebody else to fill that hole for me that I didn't want to feel by being alone. And right now, as I am being single, and it's something that right now I'm extremely conscious of that time in my life, more so than I ever have been in the past when I was single. But right now it's something that I want to consciously and with all my awareness embrace, because if I can't build this beautiful foundation with myself, with my single self, without any partner, without any sort of heart drama, then I will always use relationships as an anchor, because I can't anchor myself, and I don't want that anymore. It's really, really, really important for me to get to a point, and I'm not quite fully there yet. I'm getting there. I'm definitely getting there, and I'm getting closer and closer. But I'm still learning every single day to fill my own cup. And again, this is also a fine line to walk on, because we are humans, and it is very human to look for connection. It's very human to want intimacy. It's so human to want to love and receive love, and I don't want to neglect myself, any of that. I'm fully open to the experience of it. Every once in a while, I get some people through emails or comments ask me, how do I learn to be alone? And I believe the first step is really to just consciously spend time with yourself. To say no more when you're being asked to go out or spend time with friends or your partner or whatever, and consciously nurture and build that connection to yourself. And I also do that by meditation. I do that by traveling alone. I do that by taking time to create when I'm by myself. I do that by journaling. I do that by going on dates just with me, myself, and I. And I deal and face all the fears that have to do with loneliness, with the fear of being alone, and look into what these feelings are and the thoughts that come up, what sort of beliefs, what sort of, yuckiness, where's it located in my body, and then I try and make friends with all of that. And yeah, I have been working with coaches and therapists and been doing a lot of yoga. I've set myself up in a way that I spend a lot of time alone because I need it and because I want to, but also because I know it's good for me, and that the deeper I can go with myself, the deeper I can go with other people. And this has been my experience over the last few years, and of why I'm also doing all this spiritual work, is that I'm going super deep within myself, and that in itself is reflected back. It's mirrored back in the relationships that I invite into my life, and that they keep getting deeper and more beautiful and so much more meaningful. It's the saying, and it's just so universal. It's just, we have to start with ourselves. There's nowhere else to be than with ourselves. It's the number one connection that we need to nurture and put a lot of love and attention into. So that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed my little, I guess it's like a little diary video. I'd like to just share more of my thoughts and what's going on in here and on a more raw sort of level. And I'd like to do this more often as things are happening for me. Of course, I want to be super useful, and I always reflect on how much value can I provide for you, because I don't just want to make a video just because it serves me. As much as making all these videos is some form of therapy for me, just as much as when I write on Instagram, but I also want to always inspire you to connect to your own truth. And I do that hopefully by connecting to my own and then sharing it to you. And by embracing that vulnerability, I hope to inspire you to embrace your own. Because I have found for myself that it's extremely liberating and freeing. And if all of us do this a bit more, then I think we'll all be freer, humanity will be freer, and hopefully we'll all be more fulfilled, happier, more peaceful human beings in the end. So my question to you is, how is your connection with yourself? How's that going for you? How are you cultivating it? What are your thoughts and feelings and fears around being alone? What do you think about loneliness versus solitude? Where's your fine line? Or is it not even that fine? I'd love to hear more about that and what's going on for you, because it's something that I've really been thinking about so much, and talked to my coach about, and to friends, and yeah, let's keep a conversation going. Thank you so much for watching. It means the world. I love sharing myself through video, through this medium, and I'd like it if you give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys. Love ya. Blessings from Bali. Beautiful, beautiful day today. Bye.